So the objective of the class is, right, basically to cover mainly focusing on the Palo Alto configuration, security policies, VPN, and the troubleshooting point. Right. So so the audience will be, right. So for the Palo Alto firewalls, right? So it will be like network engineers, security analyst, so the firewall administrator, SOC teams, right? So anyone who is looking into the completed CCNA and they want to grow in the security field, right? So these are the audience, and there will be 30 to 40 hours class, and these, I think these are already communicated to you, and we'll be using the EVNG as the software, and that is also there in the EVNG or VMware, and then we have the Palo Alto VM series as the image, and then that will be used for the lab, right? Yeah, and both of you said earlier, so because the as per the Gartner quadrant, right? So the Palo Alto is the leader one because they have established their own patented technologies in terms of security, right? Before the other vendors capture the market. So that is the reason they are being the leader as per the Gartner quadrant. And then there are 14.8 and other firewalls, right? So these are the just the objective and the details. So I'll just go through overview on contents, right? So basically we'll be covering the introduction and the basic configuration, right? So first we will be seeing that what is Palo Alto Network Firewall and what is the OS for that. And there are hardware models and there are virtual firewalls, right? So hardware is a physical one. Virtual firewall is the where we can deploy the firewall. And then we'll be seeing the next generation firewall features. So overview of the different firewall features apart from the normal firewall where we have the intelligence of the uh, where intelligence can be combined of the IDS, IPS, web filtering, content filtering, wildfire, right? So all these other features can be combined with the next generation firewall. So hope you all know on the next generation firewall, which is basically, right. So it remembers the session that is going across the firewall, right? And then it also has the other features, right? So as I said earlier, the web filtering, IDS, IPS, antivirus, right? So those are security profiles. And apart from that, application control. So all these, there are many security features that can be combined here on the next generation firewall. So those features also we'll be seeing that. And then there are deployment modes, right? So firewall can be deployed in the multiple modes. How we can deploy that, right? So there is a tap mode we have, and there is a virtual wire we have, layer 2, layer 3. So these are the kind of different methods, right? So where layer 3, right? So this normally is the standard deployment that we'll be having, where you have the main office where we have the perimeter firewall as the Palo Alto firewall, and inside we have the different firewall. It could be Fortigate or Juniper or any other vendor, right? Because it is recommended that we should have two different OS. One could be PAN, one could be Fortinet, right? So these kind of different OS that we have, and the perimeter, and so there are intermediate and there are core, right? So these kind of a layers setup in any organization that we'll be seeing. Perimeter, that will be different firewall based upon the security parameters and the features, throughput, right, and the other parameters. Intermediate will be the different one, and core will be mainly based upon the bandwidth and throughput. So these are the consideration that will be taken here. So we can have the three different vendors so here, and based upon that we can deploy the any of the modes. So these are just the production part. Then we'll be seeing the initial setup, how we can do the initial configuration of the Palo Alto firewall is web and CLA configuration and licensing. and there are interface types and management interface configurations. So this one we'll be seeing in the initial setup. Yeah. So the again the basic configuration interface configuration continues, right? So here we'll be having the layer 3 interfaces and zones, because the Palo Alto works on the zone based firewall. So we'll be seeing the zone, and then VLAN sub interfaces, DHCP, right? So these are the other parameters we have to see, and then static routing and default routing configuration. So this covers the basic interface and the connectivity part, right? So and the DHCP, so all these things. And then we'll be seeing the security policies and not NAT configuration, how we can configure the security policy in the environment to allow the traffic between the two interfaces or two zones basically. So that one is the policies and NAT configuration, right? So if you want to have the access towards the any internet, or if internet wants to communicate to us, it could be private to public or public to private translation. So that is called as a NAT configuration. So it is not recommended that only private to public, it could be private to private also based upon the scenario, right? So just a translation basically. So that one will be seeing static NAT, dynamic NAT, PAT, all this configuration. And then there are user ID and app ID configuration. We will be seeing that. So, so like how will be how we can do the overview and integration of the LDAP. So this is just the configuration level we will be seeing, like how we can do the LDAP integration. So this is not completely on the LDAP server and this one. So we'll be seeing how we can configure the LDAP, radius, local authentication, everything. So that's the part that will be covering on the user ID point of view. And there's a captive portal and authentication policies, right? So how we can authenticate with the help of the radius or local this one, then how we can do that. So that's the authentication part. And then there is a app ID, right? So this is a major concept where you have to remember that nowadays uh, all the firewalls are focusing on the app ID to have the visibility of the application that is going through the network, right? So earlier we used to have only on the port basis, right? It could be port 80 or 443, right? So this is the app ID. This is the first time the Palo Alto firewall they have invented this patented feature, app ID, where it is also called as the Applipedia, where the Palo Alto network is having the visibility of the multiple applications that is going on the in a network, right? So so we have to allow the traffic based upon the application. It could be HTTP, HTTPS, right? And then we will be allowing that. So only based upon the application, not on the port 80 or 443. So that is where we application identification is comes into picture, and then how we can create the custom applications, right? So in case any company wants to have the custom applications that is created, because it is up to the any company or any individual, they can have the respective application running on the some specific port because of the security reasons, right? So so that is use of that custom applications, and how we can fine tune that. So then there are URL filtering and web security, right? So so there is a URL filtering features will be there. So how we can control the access towards the any specific website, YouTube or Netflix or anything, and how we can have the safe security for that. Right? So, so that is the main use of the advanced security that is called as the URL filtering. And then there will be threat prevention, where we have the IPS, antivirus, wildfire. So basically the security features whatever you are seeing here, these are the must for the any next generation firewall, right? And this should be thoroughly understood on the conceptual level, and it could be implemented also. So that is the reason we should have the threat prevention and all the security features, right? Threat prevention in the sense, so there are multiple terminologies here. One is IPS, which is intrusion prevention system, where it detects the attack and it prevents from that, from any kind of attack from within LAN to WAN or outside to inside anywhere. Right? So that is called as the IPS. There is antivirus. So there is a malware or anything virus that is detected in your network. How we can prevent that using the antivirus profile. So that is what is the thing. And wildfire is the latest technology where the any kind of attack, so if it is not known to the PaloAlto, the PaloAlto firewall will send it to the wildfire device. This is a cloud-based intelligence device where that will take the decision whether to the traffic is genuine or not. Right. So and then it will pass the its own agreement to the Palo Alto firewall. So this one we'll be seeing. We'll be seeing how we can configure the say how we can send the logs to the wildfire. So those things we'll be seeing, and so these are the threat prevention technologies. And then there is a decryption. Right? So we have to see, right, inbound and outbound decryption, right? So there are to have the secure communication. So decrypt the we have to encrypt and decrypt the SSL traffic. So that is the reason. So we'll be seeing SSL decryption and certificate management and troubleshooting. So these are the this covers under the decryption point of view. So next is VPN and high availability. So this is basically virtual private network where if the user wants to have the communication towards the outside with a secure line. So that is where we use the VPN, and we will be seeing that site to site IPsec VPN. And there are different types in that: route based VPN, policy based VPN, and what is the troubleshooting point. Right. So this is on the site to site VPN. So there are global protect remote access VPN. So we'll be seeing the global protect remote access. So this is a remote access VPN feature that is there with a Palo Alto firewall. We'll be seeing the configuration point of view on that. And then the high availability. So this is must and should, because in the network there is a redundancy point of view. So we should have the for every device that we have in the network to maintain the resiliency. So there will be any identical device that will be there that should be used. So that is called as the high availability. Right? Basically, basically ensures that the resilience is there. So that is the main purpose. So there will be active, passive, and active scenario that we'll be seeing that. Yeah. So then there are logging and monitoring. So there are different types of logs: traffic logs, session logs, threat logs. So these are kind of logs that how we can troubleshoot that, where we can see that, right? So those things and troubleshooting commands. So this will go in hand in all the, say, all the topics that we are covering. What are the troubleshooting commands and how we can test it. So then there is a panorama. So this is a theoretical part on the centralized management, how we can see that, and what are the features and how we can deploy that, and in case if you want to deploy, what are the configuration that is required, right? So what are the issues? So those things we'll be covering that. So at the end of the session, so you'll be enough skill to configure and manage the Palo Alto firewall day-to-day basis. And I will be also telling as part of the design point of view, because I am also working on the designer. So I'll be telling you on the design point of view how we can deploy that, how to choose the right model based upon the parameters, right? So those things we'll be covering that. And then there are other features whichever we are covering, and we'll be good to prepare for the PCNSA or PCNSE certification. So this is the content that we'll be covering, and then we will get into the lab, right? So I'll just want to show that what is the lab and the lab details. So this is the Palo Alto Firewall lab, and here the same lab setup that will be given to you, right? So that you can practice on this one, and you'll be having the remote access for this, and in the same way you can practice. And here in the class we'll be practicing that, any one of the concept we can take it and we will be practicing that. The same thing that will be given the documentation and you can practice that. There will be recording of that, right? So here I'll not be covering in depth as part of the demo. What I will be telling you is that there will be a on the setup point of view, and there will be a demo on the traffic on the Palo Alto feature, one of the Palo Alto features. So that I will be showing that in the today's session. So let's say that. So there is a site one. So this is the overview. So here what we have done is site one to cover all the features that we have discussed now, content. The site one. So there is a two firewalls here, PA1 and PA2. So they are connected with the links here. These are one slash two and one slash one. They are links, and this is a HA, high availability, and there are two ISPs here. This is net means this is ISP cloud. You are seeing this is the ISP. So these are the ISP. They are connected, and this is the active passive setup that we have done. So this covers your high availability point of view, and there are there can be multiple other flows, but parameters. This is a management access that will be there. And here we have divided into the two subnets. One is user one and another is the DMZ zone, right? So, and there is a switch, there's a separate switch that is there. So the user one will be in the different VLAN and DMZ will be in the different VLAN. So in this way, we will be replicating the traffic between the zones here and outside, outside of the firewall, right? So this is on the main site one, right? And we see the site two here. Site two, we have the, yeah. So you see the two firewalls here, and they are connected actually, right? So this firewall is connected to the network internet, and there is other firewall also that is connected here to the server. This firewall is connected to the server, and there is a management switch, right? So what we have done is the management switch we have taken from all the firewall, right? So this firewall to save the bandwidth and resources that is used in the EVNG software, and should not be that because more CPU required if you are replicating the more devices. So that is the reason. So here if you see Palo Alto here is there, and here also there is Palo Alto firewall, and there is a Palo Alto firewall here, and you see the management link from each of them. We are seeing to the one management switch, and there is a management PC. So from one PC we can manage the this firewall, and this firewall, right? Side two, side three, and side four firewalls we can manage that. So this one we'll be seeing. And at any point of time, say suppose we are covering an HA or any source NAT or anything, so we'll be making sure that only one setup will be running that, so that it doesn't consume much resources, and we replicate the exact scenario on that. So in that way we have designed this syllabus in lab. So here site two, there are two firewalls and they are connected each to each other. So these are the some kind of setup for the say HA and for the other features, simulation. So those things we will be doing that static route or any other concept we will be covering in this one. And there is a another site three here, and there will be seen the two connections which are from this to this one. So there will be aggregate interface link. So how we can configure that and troubleshooting that. Right? So those things. we'll be seeing that here. And this is
Sir,
site 3.
sir,
Yeah,
site two and site three are two different location. I think so. So how
yeah,
they are connected with each other? Means with this link.
yeah. So we are just given the naming convention here, site 2 and site 3, right? And we have this link. Are you able to see this Ethernet 1/2, 1/4, right?
Yeah.
So these links we have purposefully connected so that we have to say just the Ethernet. Normally it will be like in the real world scenario, right? In the real world scenario, it could be kind of a point to point link or MPLS link, right? So, but
Yeah. Understood.
here, what I have done, so I have just say to replicate the say the aggregate interfaces concept. What we have done, I have just modified the Ethernet 1/2, right? And here, anytime we can have that point to point or anything, we can replicate that, right? So that
One
is
more
a
question, sir.
yeah,
Here you have the management switch at the point of the site 2. When in real scenario, site 3 and site 2 is different location.
yeah.
So, and the management switch is connected with the site 2, then how site 3 firewall will be managed with this management switch?
Yeah, yeah. We'll come to that. Basically, to just to give a clarity, right? So the management switch and the management PC, this is one PC can manage the multiple firewalls, right? So I will have only one subnet because management I'm just using for the managing the device, right? I'm not using for the data traffic, right? So I can have 192 series subnet 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 for all these one, and the same subnet I can have here, and I can manage. I can do the configuration here. Okay, so that is what is the thing. It is
Means
not
it is
that.
P2P connection maybe there
Yeah, so it's
in
just
real
a
scenario.
yeah. Yeah, so that is based upon the setup, right? So it's just for the management, right? So it could be a size. I would have been done. So
Uh,
from here, I would have been connected one PC like here. You see how I have connected? Like here, I would have been done connected like that. In
uh,
order to
uh, Hello, trainer. I think it should be. It is not the switch. It is a cloud which is accessible to all the device via the management. You just change the. I think the icon or the switch. This is a not switch. It's in the
oh,
management.
so
This is a
this is a
cloud.
switch actually. This is a
Actually, switch.
switch,
How can
L2
you
switch.
accessible? How can you accessible the all the devices via the management address?
Yeah, L2 switch. And so here what we'll be doing, I will show you right later. Right. So here what we are doing is just the L2 switch, right? And we'll be having the if the interfaces, right? You have three firewalls, right? And three firewalls also I am configuring the same management interface, right? The
So
management
what
IP in
we
the
are
same
asking
subnet.
is, what we are
Okay. Okay.
asking is in practical
Okay.
scenario, the
Yeah,
firewall is in the different location.
correct, correct.
So
Yeah,
Okay,
here
okay,
you
okay.
can,
I totally got it.
yeah,
All the firewalls management interface are linked to on the switch with the switch.
yeah.
All the firewall management addresses have a management links connected with the switch, and then
Yeah.
switch is connected with your PC.
Yes. So you see the red
Okay,
line,
okay,
management
okay.
switch.
Got it.
This is just a L2 connection, right? Plain L2 connection. So this is what. Otherwise, we can have the one firewall, one switch here and one switch here, one switch here, right? But in order to replicate that setup uh, with no that much usage on the resources, that is the reason we have the switch and the management PC,
so in
right?
practical scenario, we have another management switch at the site 3, right?
Yeah. So we should be having right another management switch here, and then we'll be having the management PC here to manage all these devices. So in that way, we'll be having that. Here also
Okay,
same,
okay.
right? And
Understood.
in the site
Understood.
4 also we have done it here site 4. This is site 4, and there is a internet, and then we have the PaloAlto firewall here, and then there is a server management server, and then we have the Cisco firewall here. So we'll be seeing the how we can establish the IPsec VPN between these two, right? And here we'll be seeing the other. VPN here. So IPsec VPN between Palo Alto to Palo Alto and Palo Alto to Cisco, like that. And then there is a remote access VPN where we can see here from site 4 user to the Palo Alto firewall, how we can establish the remote access VPN. So this is the way, and this is the IPsec VPN. To replicate the IPsec feature, we have this management machine here to for to replicate the VPN point of view, right? So this is how the topology will be. Right?
Sir,
Hope it
here
is
there
clear
is no
now.
any centralized firewall, like centralized firewall which manage all the firewalls. Like,
Yeah. Panorama is not there. This is a centralized firewall, so that is not there. We will be having the individual firewall, and that is a
okay, okay.
management switch that you can do it. So otherwise, we have this one management PC from where we can manage the all the other firewalls. It's the same kind of the image that we get it in the Palo Alto, even though you access from Panorama or the individual. There are some features that I will be covering on that. How Panorama is different and what are the precautions that we need to take it, best practices and all the other things in the Panorama point of view. So this will be your lab setup, and uh, the content will be, I'll be showing the content how we can do that. So there will be a PPT, right? So whatever the concept we are covering, so there will be a PPT which will cover the theoretical part on the concept like app ID in Palo Alto Firewall, interface management, this one, right? So if you just go through that overview of Palo Alto Network Firewall, this will give you the theoretical knowledge which will help you in the clearing the interviews, because most of the times we concentrate on the labs but we do not know how exactly that will work, right? So that is the reason we have the all the theoretical concept here: architecture, packet flow, deployment modes. So there are deployment modes. What are the deployments modes? Layer 2, layer 3, and what is the use case, traffic flow configuration, how we can do that. So these things we will be seeing. This is the theoretical part, and then we have the workbook where we will be seeing the how we can do the management access and different concept, right? Whatever we discussed on the theory, we have to come to the lab and then we have to replicate these scenarios, right? So just give one example, right? So the application control, right? So here, so this will be given this topology, whichever the topology that we are referring. So in this case, the application control, right? And the configuration of each of the devices, right? The policies, right? Everything we'll be seeing that. These are the configuration, basically, how what is the thing, right? And then if you commit and everything with the screenshot, we'll be seeing that. And then inside to outside, basically covering the configuration. So here you see, as I said, this is application control. So here, why Palo Alto Firewall is famous, because here I'm allowing based upon the application. You see Facebook chat, Facebook social plugin, Google Drive, TeamViewer. So these kind of applications that we can allow it, and Palo Alto Firewall will look into the traffic that is there here, TeamViewer and on the application level, and it will allow the traffic. So that is the reason the application parameter is used. That is comes under the application control, right? Right. And then you see the drive.google.com, whatever we have done. So we have, that is called as the, so Google Drive Web, right? So we have seen that Google Drive Web to deny the traffic. So that is what is the is happened here. Right? TeamViewer is also there. So like this. Right? And then once we can allow that, and then we'll be seeing the policies, right? So that is what it is. It is covered here in this one. So you see that there are two policies: inside to outside, inside to outside. One is with the application control, one is with the to allow the traffic. So that is how you will be covered with the lab. So this is one of the workbook example I have given, and there are DHCP server, global protect, high availability, right? So decryption, virtual systems, right? So these are the other concept that we'll be covering that. And there is a command lines, right? So specifically we have given for the which are useful for the PaloAlto firewall. So these are the command lines. So this we can, it will be handy for the to type and to in the practical scenario. So it will be handy how we can do the packet capture, exporting, routing commands. So all these things, and there will be further addition also for this one. So here now I just want to show you that this is a basic topology that we have done. Management PC and management switch. This is a Palo Alto firewall, and and what is the management IP? This will be the management and 1.1. So this is a 1.1 is the management IP here, and this is a L2 switch, and we have the connectivity from this PC. So if you go to the management PC, right? So you see the 192.168.1.1. So this is the IP that is there. And currently we have done the active passive, right? So this is a device is active. So these are the dashboards, high availability, this one. So this one we need to enable. Then there is a general information, which is PAVM, Palo Alto VM, right? So, and then we have the management address and the login information. So I have admin, I have logged in with this IP, and this is a web login, right? So system logs, config logs, and any logs if you want to do that. So, and these are the dashboards, that is the different dashboards. Right? So, and then here we have what we have done. I will show you the the user one and DMZ. These two we have configured it here. So if you go to the network interfaces, right, and then we have configured here the inside DMZ and outside, right? And we come to here Ethernet 1/3, that is divided into the sub interfaces 1/10 and 3/10 and 3/20. So 10 subnet and 20 10 VLAN and VLAN 10 and VLAN 20 VLAN. So in that way, and we have given the IP 192.168.10.1 for this one. So here for this one, user one, the gateway is on the Palo Alto firewall. It will be 192.168.10.1, and it will be gateway on the firewall. And DMZ, so this is 20.10, and the gateway will be 20.1. Right? So like this, right? And there is a Ethernet 1/4, which is the outside interface 1/4. So here outside interface, and that is connected to the internet. So this is the outside one. So this is a basic setup for the interface configuration, right? So once you configure this interface and the zone, whichever is there. So if you want to allow the traffic, so you have to go for the policies. Yeah. So here we have to see inside to outside. So this is the on the zone, the label that we have given, the naming convention that we have given, and then we have to give the. So if I go here, I can edit the policy inside to outside. What is the source? Source zone is inside. Destination is outside. Application any. So it's application default, and action will be allowed. So this is the policy for the inside to outside. Whereas there is, you can see one more policy here, inside to outside one, right? So what is the inside one is that go to the network. Here if you see inside, this is zone, and 3/10, right? And so this is 10 under 10 subnet 192.168.10.1, 10.1, right? So that which comes under user one. So user one is the inside one, and this one DMZ we have given the DMZ one. So there is this comes under the DMZ one. So that is the reason you see here DMZ that is configured for this DMZ interface, and there is a management profile you have to define for that whenever you are defining that. So this management profile will help you in having the access for this, right? So if you want to allow ping, SSH, any protocols to this firewall, this interface, so that is where we have to link in the management profile, right? So these are things, and then if you go to the policies. So these will be the policies that will be that you can define, and there is application that we have defined here, Facebook and all the other application. So I can do the click here. I'll show you this policy which we have discussed now, inside to outside, and source one inside, destination is outside application. Right, so here we are define this Facebook chat, this Google DNS, TeamViewer, everything, and service category. This application default only will be there. So action. So we have modified that action to deny. So that whenever user trying to access that, so that time the traffic will be denied. So this is the lab for that, and these are the policies that will be there. And there's a log session like this. There is one more thing is that for doing this to have the access, we should have the NAT policies also. So you have to define the NAT policy because since it is going from the inside to outside or DMZ to outside. So that's where you have to define the NAT policies. So user one to internet. So you can just give the name, the NAT policy, and there will be original packet. Source zone will be the inside one, and there is a outside zone. Right? So the original packet is traveling from inside to outside, and any source address could be anything, destination could be anything. Since we are doing the source NAT here, so the translated packet I go and I see the source address translation because we have to go to the outside word. So that's where we go for the translation type, dynamic IP and port, interface address. So this is the interface that we are using, and we are just using the interface address for the to go out on this. There is a destination NAT, and this one we are not doing. Only the source NAT we are doing here. This is a NAT policy for this one, and there is a DMZ to internet. We have the DMZ server. So we have configured the different rules for that. DMZ to internet. So original packet, source zone. Source zone is DMZ because this interface, you see the sub interface, right? Ethernet one slash and this sub interface 1/3.20, right? So that is the sub interface that we have configured here. So that interface is part of the DMZ. So that's where we have to select the source zone as DMZ, and destination is outside. Translated packet. So what we have given, we have given the dynamic IP, and we want that to be go with this public IP, right? Only one public IP because why this case is critical is that because sometimes what happens, we have the shortage of the public IPs, right? And we want the critical servers in our environment to go with the same IP. We should not get disturbed with that. Otherwise, what will happen? There are many users in the environment, and they want to go out, and the public IP that get extended, the IP will become full. So that time the server is not able to serve the traffic, right? So the business is impacted. Could be DMZ, and there are a lot of users that's coming to this server, with this one. So that time, and this server also needs some update to go out. So that time, that is the reason. So in order to avoid that, we normally what we'll be doing, we'll be having the public IP, that is one of the public IP on the interface that will be dedicated for the each of the servers. So in that purpose, we have taken that. So these are things. So you can see the hit count and everything. So here, just for we have tried that. And when you go to the user one, right? So if you want to test it, right? So yeah, IP config. So this is the user one, right? And then we can have the testing to whether we are able to reach to the internet or not. Right? So internet is the user one. Similarly, we can try for this DMZ one. Why we are taking is pieces that for the access, and it will be easier uh, to have the because it will give the exact uh, replication of the environment. Normally the user will be accessing from the PC, right? So and how we can troubleshoot that. So in that scenario, we are taking the PC here instead of VPC, because there could be taken from VPC or any other thing. So that is the reason. So here we can try on the accessing, just pinging to the internet and check it. So like this, you can have the connectivity testing, and also let me take this one here. So this is on the user one and the DMZ, and we have the management security. Yeah, connection issue. Let me initiate the connection again. Yeah. So so you are seeing right. So security policy. So basically, we have covered say user one to the access to the internet, and DMZ to access towards the internet. So in that way, so those are the policies, right? So and if I want to say disable that, right? So we'll just give an example. So if I want DMZ to disable that, right? So what I can do, I just click here, click on this policy, and I can delete it, add it, clone it, and I can disable it, right? So I'll just disable it, right? And what we can try DMZ, right? So we go here for the easier and simpler test. So we just try to ping the internet. So currently you see we are able to access it. And what I have done, I just disable the policies, right? And there's a main thing that in the operational uh, operation of the PaloAlto firewall, right? So there is any changes you do, right? So now I have disabled this one, and I have to commit that, right? So because this is commit in the sense, I have to amend that configuration to the firewall so that the changes takes place, right? So if I'm not committing, what will happen? This is general mistake that operations teams will be doing. Or it could be mistake only by mistake. So they forget, they do all the changes here, any routing or any object group changes or any policy changes, right? And then they forget to commit it to the firewall so that it is not updated to the data plane, from the control plane to data plane. These are the main architecture of the Palo Alto firewall. So, so now I am going to commit it, right? So that is the reason you, the same time we'll be seeing here. Currently, you are able to reach to the internet here, and now you see is getting committed. Meantime, we have to can check here the traffic. This is commit is the operation where you are making ensure that the changes are correct, and you can review the changes here, right? And you make sure that it is giving the extra option to see, you verify the changes you are going to do it. Is it correct? And if there is anything mistake that you can change it. So that is the advantage that we have in this feature, Palo Alto Firewall. So go to the DMZ here. So you see this is a request is dropped actually because we have disabled the policies. So already 99% is complete. So configuration committed successfully. So this is what is the thing. So we can close this one here. So this is already we are seeing that details, right? And also the result also shows successful here. Why I'm closing? Because I got the confirmation from this here, so that has already impacted the firewall interfaces, and it has already done the setup. Right? So again, if you want to allow it, so just do the same thing. Just click on that and enable it. Right. So what I can do, we can enable it, and there is a clone. If anything, I want to clone this policy to the another configuration, I can clone that, right? And I can change the parameters here, the zones or IP address, right? So anything I can change it. So that is a option for a clone. The add and delete. These are the options for deleting this one, and I can also move this towards the top one. So if I select in the policy and I want to take this up. So I'll just move up, just click on move up. So that becomes a priority here, DMG to outside. Right. So and then what I will do, I'll just enable it now. Right. So if you enable it and if you are checking here, so still you are not able to get it, right? So sometimes we face this scenario where we just done the changes and we have not committed. So that is the reason. Always just have this uh, commit option check actually. Then we can see in the DMZ point of view, right? So apart from that, so So if I want to say the do the packet capture here, right? So there is a option in the EVNG that so I can go here and I can do the packet capture here, and I can do Ethernet 1/4, 1/4. This is the outside interface. So I can go there and I can run it. So this is the continuous packet capture. This is going on. So here, yeah, go to the terminal. So here you're able to see the 8.8.8, right? Then it will be updated later here. Basically, the normally the Wireshark analysis is very good, right? We have to analyze that traffic, right? So that when we'll be seeing that how we can do that. But I have shown you just this one, and there are different headers, right? So you see the TCP protocol. What are the things here? I'm just taking some random packet here, right? So and then just seeing this, showing this source port, destination port for the TCP packet and IP header, right? Ethernet frame, like that you can see here. So this is on the EVNG point of view, how we can do that. So I'll just stop this one now. Yeah. So we have simulated the basic this one policies, and there are different NAT policies that is done for this one. One is with the dynamic IP and port. We are using the dynamic IP and the port configuration on the source NAT, where it will take the on the Ethernet 1/4, it will take that interface IP and the port will be different. The other one is we are making that for the DMZ, we are making that only one NAT IP that is taken, right? So that is what is the translation here. And you can also see the hit counts, right? So these are the hit counts and the last hit. So the first hit whenever it is done and modified, created. So when the policy is created, last hit, everything you will be able to see. This is really useful whenever you want to test it. So this is in the GUI itself, you are able to see the traffic hit counts on the NAT policy and the security one, right? So these are the other this one. So I think this is just the brief introduction that I've given and the demo on the source NAT and also on the application control, right? Uh, Source NAT basically like what I was covering is that source NAT on the two different types. One is on the interface level, one is on the public IP level. So that is what is the this is the demo, and also we can check on the firewall. So on the CLI, yeah, it will take some time to because I have done the incorrect password initially. So that's why it will take some time for that. and there will be uh, commands where we can see, right? So what are the session that is there, right? Show session all. These are the commands, right? And then you can see the ID. This is a session ID, right? Windows push and this application. What are the applications? So since this is intelligent firewall, so it is already detecting this application and state. Is it active or is not there? So that is what is the status, right? Type. So this is a flow. That is what is the type, and then flag, right? And then we have the source IP, and this is a source port. This is a random port that will be generated from the this one. So on the first one, we have 192.168.10.10, which is going towards the destination outside one, and this is the IP 4213.25.241. 421.325.241 and 443 access it was done, and there is a NAT which has happened 172.16.24.9, right? So you see you can follow the same source port zone, right? Inside zone, right? And the protocol is 6 is stands for the TCP1 translated IP. This is a translated IP and the port, right? And destination. So all these are destination details. The same way we will be going through. So just it is just to analyze on the same pattern, right? So similarly here, web browsing discard, right? So there is a discard. It was done 172.2010 because this one we discarded that in the we disabled it and enabled it. So the policy. So that's the reason it has given this one. So you see the uh, just let me show you that. See for the DMZ one, so you see discard is there and you see the IP, the NAT IP here 172.16.24.200. This is what is the NAT IP that is we have allocated for this source NAT, and then there is a public that was going outside, and then this is a outside IP, right? So this is what is the thing, right? Because since we disabled it, there is a web browsing that application is going on. So and we disconnected that, so that's why it gave the discard option. Just want to tell you that on the source net, these are the IPs that we'll be seeing, and this is a wherever 20 is there, you will be seeing the different IP, and wherever 192.160.10.10 is the user one, so you'll be seeing the this IP as an NAT IP, right? So that is what 172.16 some other IP, right? 24.9, right? So these are the IPs. So source net, I thought of covering that on the today's demo. So that's what we have covered it. And after that, you can just there are other commands where we can check that. So we can go in detail of the particular session. Say if I want to see the complete session uh, for this ID. So there will be ID that is allocated for the each session. So if I want to see that, so I can go for the particular session ID and I can see that like show session, right? And if I want to see say the so this one 1155, that show session ID. So what it will show the respective details on the session, right? So this is a source and this is a destination protocol 6 source port init state, right? And destination port. Here the client to server flow, server to client flow, right? So both will be there because in one session consist of the both the flows, right? So normally in the firewall, if the user is initiating towards the outside, so there will be client to server, server to client. Both the traffic will be allowed in one policy. You will need not to define two policies, right? So you need not to define two policies. You can define only one policy which covers the both the flows from client to server and server to client. Both the flows, request traffic and return traffic, both are covered. And these are the other details, right, on the application, what are the application and VCs, right? So these are the other details that will be there. So this will give you to have the session ready. So if I want to see filter with something, right? Show session, show session all, and then we can have the filter. So I can do the filter of the all these kinds of the there are application I can filter it out, right? And then account I can see destination port, right? So if I want to filter on the any of the destination, I can filter destination port. So suppose say if I want to filter destination port, right, which is 443. So I can only filter on the 443 port, and these are the Windows push notification, because since this is a server 10.10 and 20.10, we have made this server online. So what there will be some random push that will be happening for this one, right? So that one also we can see here netstat, the so this is on the server, right? So you see on the server, right? So sometimes uh, user can also access the sessions here. So you see here HTTPS, which is there 4213.25.241 on the user one, which is right, which is 192.160 local address in the sense. So this PC is local address and 4213.25.241. Similarly, if I see here 4213.25.241, right? So I can able to compare the session on the server user here, and then on the PaloAlto firewall 4213.25.241 443 outside, right? So that is what, and this is the NAT it is taking on the this one, right? So similarly here, if you see the other one, this is also the same, right? So 4213.25.241, this is what is it is taking for the Windows push notification, and these are the NAT IPs, right? So this is what will show. If you say you can hit the same netstat. So as a network engineer, what we should be there, right? So we need to be uh, good enough to know what are the commands that user can run so that it can helpful from our troubleshooting point of view, right? Understanding point of view, right? So there are some ARP commands also there, right? ARP-A, right? So these kinds of commands. So we should be knowing that at the end in my machine level or the server level, right? So here we are discussing that netstat, and then these are the details for an address and the state, right? TCP close wait, right? So it is waiting for the closing the connection. So that is what, and after the time gap, then it will close that connection. So these are the TCP states that will be there. So establish, this is the all the established connection which is already going on. So, and if you see the go to the firewall and say if you want to see the any of the flows, so that's what we discussed. We have seen that earlier. So we can see the session and we can see the filter and everything. So this is just to give you idea on that how we can use the command line, and then how we can check the traffic, right? So So that's it for the today's demo, right? So I just want to hand over to the students to have the queries. I'll uh, start for the students, right? So students, if they are having any technical queries, they can ask me.
Sir, we go like step by step. That means that the Excel sheet day one, day two, day three, we are going in the same manner, sir.
Yeah, sometimes the flow will change, right? So because based upon the lab scenarios and setup, right? So but we will cover all the concept that is there.
Actually, sir, the problem is when we
Yeah,
go day by day, at that time we are in future also we are aware that we are going day by day. These are the topic is covered. But if you go like your own way, then it is sometimes very difficult for us in future to grab which lecture is which one. Only for that
yeah.
reason I am asking you.
Yeah. So I'll be communicating you in advance, right? So on the topics that will be there. Right? I'll be communicating you, say which day it will be covered and what is this one, so that
So
it will
that
be
we can
easier.
I can write down in the other column that this chapter is on this date we have cover. So in future, suppose we are referring the
Yeah,
lecture, then it is easy for us to refer.
yeah. So I'd say, say suppose if you have taken the class today, right, and I will inform you, right, tomorrow we'll be covering that, right. So it'll be like that. So in that way, so that you are know, right. So at least for till 3 to 4 days, you will be covering on the say IPsec VPN, so and the routing part, right, and the netting part. So in that way, we'll be covering that.
Second thing is, sir, whether in these scenarios is it cover that multiple firewall collection and integration?
Yeah. So here we have this ASA firewall, right?
Ah.
So here you see, that's the reason we included the ASA firewall, and then we'll be seeing the configuration of this everything, right? And then how we can communicate to the Cisco IPsec VPN, right? So you will be covering also the concept and terminologies for the Cisco, how we can configure that with the PaloAlto VPN. The troubleshooting also will be covered.
And for the panorama, any chart or how the panorama is works
Yeah,
in present scenario actually.
yeah. So Panorama, what I've done, I'll just since you have asked it, right? So there is a this one. There's a slide that I have prepared for the Panorama one, and even I'm planning for that this one also, the hands-on, right, how we can define that. But here, so all these you are able to see the configuration, right? So this is a kind of a theoretical concept, but here what I have taken from the real scenarios, right? What are the management plane, data plane, and everything. And so this is a use case, right? So what are the use case and how we can do that, and the templates and template stacks, right? So these are the main parameters where you will be seeing on the panorama. And what are these, right? So this one I have covered from the say theoretical point of view, right? And how we can do that, and panorama configuration example. And apart from that also, I have given you the commands, right? So how we can check the connectivity configuration status, how we can push it, right? So and there are scenarios, right? So if you take only one concept, right, there are scenarios, what are the things, right? How we can do that, and is it supported or not, right? So the best practices and the real scenarios where we will be having the query, right? So I say if I have the multiple firewalls, different OS firewalls, can I manage that or not? So those things also I covered it here. So
This one is sir theoretical, but in practical scenarios, how panorama is to be used actually.
yeah, yeah. So
So here. This
Yeah,
one is totally
that one is also
available.
that one is also planned actually. So I'm trying on that actually. So it is on the license and the image actually we are planning. So only that part is pending for the panorama.
Sir, my question is, we are not going with the practical scenario, but like the topology that you have seen right now, which
Yeah.
kind of topology is to be used in the panorama that we can able to see or not? Not basically a practically, but you can say the scenario wise that in the panorama, this kind of scenario is to be there, and this way they are managing it.
Yeah, yeah, I can give that this one actually. Say the so the images, right? So basically the panorama, the images, the template stacks
Yeah.
and everything. So
Uh,
that is what I can give that. But I'm planning to say go with some kind of images that can be helpful, right? So on this, right, on this scenario. So how can we integrate that? So that is also I'm working on that on the panorama point of view. I can literally show right how we can have managed the firewall from the panorama. So that is also I'm planning that. So
okay. Okay. Sir, one small question, sir. Is I am working with the Thornycol firewall 9600. So when the basic firewall is to be there at the time after configuring the management console, the first step is we are managing the policy, creating the policies, or so. Please guide us whenever you start the
yeah,
Palo Alto firewall. So
yeah.
this
So in the
is the
better yeah in the better term, right? So any firewall, if you take any firewall, so it starts with the right the management access to that, right? So anything once you have the management access, right? So there are interface based firewalls, right? Cisco and all you see there are interface based firewalls. Just configure the interfaces and allow the access based upon that. And when you allow the access you have to make sure that that natting and the policies, right? And that is also we have to make sure, and then the routing part will be there. So these are the main things that will be there. Right. So this one we'll be seeing step by step. I will be wiping this configuration on this firewall, and then we will be doing that from the basic, right? How we can have the management access. Even there are some say on the management switch, right? So this is a L2 switch, right? So here if you see show uh, so enable show running config, right? So on the management switch, what are the configuration, right? So that is also will be there. So here, I think there's no other configuration because this is a management switch.
yeah.
Whereas if you see the LAN switch here, right? So LAN switch is having the configuration.
VLAN configuration is there actually.
Yeah. So so those things also will be given you on the slide basis. So what how we can configure the trunk, right? And what is the this one, right? And so VLAN 10, VLAN 20, right? So this is what I said earlier. So on the device level also, say basically router switches, right? So that is also here we see switches, then there are router here, then there are other firewalls. So you will be covering all in terms of that also. So that's what I have said.
Sir, practically it will take nearly about 2 months, right, sir?
Yeah. So it will be like 30 hours is the one. So what I will be doing, I will be concentrating on the practical mainly, right? So that it will be easier for the everyone. And in the theoretical part we will be covering whenever we go with the practical. If we are not able to understand say IPsec VPN initially, so we'll just go with the initial part and then we'll be covering that. But normally whenever we go with the say basic interface configuration or anything, so we directly jump into the practical one and we'll see how we can configure the interfaces and everything.
Sir, at the end of the training, means after two
Yeah.
months, at which level we all are to be?
Yeah. Which level?
Means suppose then after 2 months, suppose we are plan to give the interview for the
Yeah.
Palo Alto, then as a we can individually able to maintain the Palo Alto.
Yes. Yeah, so that is what I have said, the objective. Right. If you see the objective of this my class, right? So my only not only the concern that so you will be having that all the hands-on. The basically you should be very much confident that what is VPN, what is threat prevention, how I can configure security policy. Is NAT happens first? Is source NAT happen first or destination NAT happens first? So how we can do the packet capture? So all these things day to day to manage and firewalls. So that will be confident. Apart from that, so on the interview point of view, I will be also covering whenever I the best practices and how to troubleshoot that. So that will be covering whenever we cover each topic. So that is what is the thing because I've been the industry for years and I have been the part of the interview panel and I have taken many interviews for the on the network security, especially at the Palo Alto. And I know what interviewers expecting and what how we can tell that exact thing, right? So I'll be covering that interview questions also.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So, so basically, mainly, I can tell you now, basically, if you look for any firewall or the basic things, they will ask this on the packet capture and how, what's the type of the packet capture and how we can define and how we can identify the any firewall if you take, right? So Cisco or Palo Alto or Fortigate or anything. So, if the user, if the interviewer want to test you, so are you good in the packet capture or not, right? So then he will ask what is the filter that we'll be using for the top functional, right? So in the Palo Alto firewall or how we can say the traffic has passed the firewall, right? So that is what the basic things that will be sorry, call got disconnected actually. Yeah. Yeah, Manish. So I was telling on the packet capture, right? So this is the main thing that is visible for the any this one any engineer. So that it is and even all the concepts are must and should, but mainly on the packet capture and the other advanced technologies, right? And what is the latest that is going on the features point of view, right? So these are the things that will be going on.
Sir, any session is to be there at the end of the session, last,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
which
yeah.
kind of
So
attack,
that
which different kind of attack that is happen with the firewall, and how we can able to find out that this kind of attack is to be there with the whether it is from
yeah,
internal or whether it is from the external.
yeah. So on the attack point of view, right? So I can tell you, right, what are the how what are define attacks and how we get that. But in real world, yeah, Manish. So
Yes, sir.
replicating the exact attacks will be difficult. So that we'll see right how we can do that. Whatever the possible one, we can do it. But not in the real world because it happens to any zero-day attack or anything, right? So that those kinds of things will not be able to do that. But I can give you the configuration and the things because how we can prevent those attacks. We can do the configuration of all those prevention of attacks, zone
Second thing
protection,
is,
the DOS attacks, and the yeah,
sir, what is zero-day security?
yeah. Zero day security is a thing, but right? So the attack All right. So suppose you have discussed about
Yeah, hello everyone. Manish, I think the trainer is getting some internet connectivity problem. So you can catch him up in the coming classes so that he can clear out your all the doubts and you can go in well flow.
Okay, okay, not an issue, sir. Not an issue.
Okay, okay. So let me do one thing. Before that, I want to just start with the my presentation. So myself, Sajid. I'm a student relationship manager. So I'm the counselor. So here I want to give you the details on regarding course and what all access and materials you guys will be getting here. Okay. So let me start with my presentation. You guys can see my screen, right? Yeah. Hello. Can anyone confirm or give a thumbs up so that I can move forward? Okay, let me start with my first slide. So as you guys can see here, so course syllabus and class schedule you'll be getting to know here. So here this will be a Palo Alto and Fortigate two-in-one batch. So which will be like on weekdays and weekend batch. Both we have. One is for weekend and one is for weekdays. So here we'll be covering in Palo Alto. In Palo Alto, we are going to cover PCNSA and PCNSE, majorly like towards all expert level. And as our trainer mentioned, like we'll be covering Panorama as well. So as of now, he's working on it. So due to the license version and everything, he's looking on it, and he'll be covering in the coming classes. Okay. And secondly, we'll be covering Fortigate by the same trainer. The trainer will be trainer Raj itself. So he's expert in Palo Alto and Fortigate, both the modules, both the firewalls. So we'll be covering NSE for that. Okay. Here below, as you can see here, this is a class schedule for your classes. So schedule 1 is for FortiGate class and schedule 2 is for your Palo Alto class. So FortiGate class will be starting from the Saturday and Sunday, coming weekend from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. IST. Okay. And 2 hours of session on Saturday and Sunday, weekend batch. The course duration will come so for 2 to 3 months. Okay. And schedule 2 is for weekdays. So Monday to Friday, it will be going to be. And it will be weekdays batch, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. 5 days in a week. And the class timing will be from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. IST, 1 hour of session every day, Monday to Friday. And the course duration will come up for 2 to 3 months here as well. Okay. And here, let me if you guys are looking for overall 5-in-1 modules, you can go for that too. There will be covering Palo Alto, FortiGate, Checkpoint, Cisco ASA Firewall. Then we'll be covering FILTM load balancer. So overall, you'll be getting to learn firewall plus load balancer there. You can just give me an inquiry so I can give you further more details on it. Okay. And let me move towards my next slide. So here, as you can see, course enrollment and access details. So here, what all access you'll be getting? Like once you are going to enroll for this course, so you'll be getting access and materials. Like let me start with the you'll be getting the lifetime recording access of your classes, which you'll be attending through the Zoom meeting. The recordings will be uploaded to the cloud. So from there you can access in our LMS. So the access remains with you for lifetime. Whenever you want, you can access the your recordings. Okay. And that remains with you for lifetime access. And we'll be providing you the 24/7 lab access that you can access it totally remotely, 24/7 unlimited. Whenever you want, you can access the labs which are present on our servers and cloud servers. And you'll be getting 3 months of lab access for each firewall. Like for Palo Alto, 3 months lab access you'll be getting, and for Fortigate, 3 months lab access you'll be getting. Additionally, if you are enrolling for remaining firewalls, there also you'll be getting 3 months of firewall lab access. Okay, and we'll be providing you the dedicated materials like workbooks, PPTs, PDFs, step-by-step lab manuals. All the materials we will provide you that you can download and you can keep it with you as well. And the G Drive access remains with you for lifetime. And we'll be providing you the home lab setup too. Let's say if you are having the good configuration of your system, then we'll be helping you out to set up a home lab, so that once you are done with your remote lab access, or simultaneously if you want to practice on your system, so you can have the home lab setup, and one of our team member will connect with you and he will do the setup on your system. And that access lasts for lifetime. So whenever you want, you can practice the labs on your system. And we'll be providing you the 24/7 backend support from our team. Like if you are facing any issues, any queries regarding to the course, or regarding to the portal, or regarding to the lab, anything it may be. If you are facing any problem with your uh, portal, or if you are facing the problem with labs while practicing the session, if you got stuck, or if you are not able to move forward, so you can just raise a ticket on our support DL. One of our team member will connect with you and we will resolve your issues accordingly in meantime. Okay. And next, let me